Hi guys, I'm back from my cruise. So I'm going to do a tutorial. I've not done one for 3 weeks, so I kind of missed you all. I've got quite a bit going on in this one, and it might be a bit longer than usual, so bear with me. If you don't like longer videos, you don't have to watch it. I'm going to be doing like a faux lampwork style, and I know I've done faux lampworks before, but this one's a little bit different. And what I did was I messed around with a couple of ideas, and I ended up doing one batch and I really liked it. Well, I wasn't sure about it, so I tried it a different way and I really liked it. After they were all baked, I ended up liking both, so I thought I'd show you both. It's the exact same techniques in both stacks that I'm going to do, but one is going to be using colours with a little bit of translucent thrown in, and then I've got some more squares over here which I'll go into in a minute, just of translucent, and I'm going to do it with alcohol ink, so you'll see a variation, because oftentimes I do that and then I'll just show you the variations. I thought, why not just actually take you through rather than just showing you the final product. All right, so I've got my clay rolled out, and I've got some Premo Pearl Purple, and this is rolled onto a number 4. It's roughly about not quite a quarter of a block, but roughly, and it doesn't really matter, you can make this as big as you want. And I've also got some Premo Peacock Pearl, Premo White Pearl, Premo Copper and Premo Silver, and they're all rolled onto a number 4 on my Atlas 150, 0 being the thickest setting. And I've also got a few little squares of Cernit translucent, and these are rolled onto a number 6. I'm not quite sure why I've cut them into squares though. I might have to make them a little bit bigger. But anyway, that's some Cernit translucent rolled onto setting number 6, so they're a little bit thinner. All right, so that's one stack that I'm going to show you. And then over here, I've got all translucent, and I've got 8 of these rolled out onto a number 4. And then I've got 6 more translucent squares rolled out onto a number 6. So that's going to be another block, a separate block from this one. You're also going to use some alcohol inks for the translucent block, and I'm using Cernit alcohol inks, which you can find in Blueberry Beads as linked in the description. And I've got Fire Red, Apricot, Violet Blue, and I've got this Ranger alcohol ink as well in the pool colour. That's a little random one there. So that's for that block. And then you'll also need some kind of rhinestones or sparkly things, and I've got these little tiny seed beads. And then the other thing that I'm going to incorporate into these pieces are these gorgeous resins sent to me by Lightwish. I've showed you their coloured resins before, but she sent me these ones that are, I think they're new out, and they're called Diamond Glitter. So it's resin, but it's already got the glitter mixed into each one, so you don't have to faff around mixing your own. And they're really nice sparkly colours, and you get a whole set of them. There's gold, and I'll show you when I come to use them what they look like. Light green, pink, white, dark blue, light blue. Like I said, when we get to using them down the road, you'll see what they look like. There's purple, brown, and a dark green. And she also sent me their UV, just regular UV resin. And I tell you what, guys, I really like it. There's a couple of little drawbacks with it. But I'm going to be using this as well. And when we get to that, I'll talk about it a little bit more. Okay, so I think that's everything other than cutters. And while we're on cutters, the lovely Kaylee from Kaylee and Clay, based in England, has sent me some of her cutters, and I'm going to be using some of these in today's video. This one, I absolutely love this sun one, and then this really nice heart one that she sent me. I'm going to be using those. I mean, she sent me some other ones as well, but they're the ones I'm going to be using. So she's based in England, so if you're in England, do go and look at her shop. and I'll leave the link for her shop as well. And then of course I'll be using Joy Creations cutters, possibly these two, not fully decided yet. And again, I'll link her shop in the description. She's based in US, and then I'll link Debbie's shop, who's based in Australia, and she does cutters and stuff as well. So there's going to be all the links in there that you need for what you need. And then the clay, my clay I also get from Blueberry Beads. All right, let's get moving then, because I'm talking a lot here. So I'm just going to put all this translucent to one side for the second block that I'll be doing, and I'm just going to focus on this one, and I'm just going to randomly stack it. I don't know why I cut these into squares, guys. Let me just roll a little bit more out. Derp, derp, derp. First derp of the day. So I'm just going to roll some more out, because I'm not really sure what I was thinking, because it needs to fit at least roughly. Now, do you know what? I'm going to be back. I've just re-rolled those, so they're going to fit these pieces better than those little tiny squares that I did. I think it's because I was cutting out those other ones, and I just went ahead and did those without thinking. Anyway, I've just rolled out 4 pieces, and they're rolled onto a number 6. All right, so I'm just going to very quickly stack these. This is a really simple makume. I've done this same pattern before, so it's nothing new in that respect, but obviously it's going to be a different result than what I did before, because I'm making a faux lampwork. Oh my gosh. So, you know, just random. I don't think I want that there. I'm just going to pop that bit of translucent on the bottom. So I've just done a very quick and rough stack. I probably could have just cut these into squares thinking about it now, but oh well, I already rolled it out, so you can do that if you want to, guys. I'm just trying to get my wire out of the way because it's bothering me. I'm trying to tuck it out the way a little bit. It's not wanting to stay put though. Oh dear. I'm back, guys. I'm back. All right, so a quick roll of this then, just to get it all nicely stuck together. And it is a very rough stack. Not bothered, doesn't matter. It all adds to the overall effect of the stack. I'm just going to cut this in half-ish, she says, and restack. And I'm only going to do it that one time. So these little raggedy edges can kind of be just pushed in a little bit. I mean, I might actually trim it down a little bit just to tidy it up, because that is a little bit messy, isn't it? So if you want to be neater, don't do what I just did, just roll out some squares. But there you go. All right, so I've done that. I'm just forming it into a block. Like so. I'm just going to tidy this up as well. That looks a bit gnarly. Yeah, I probably should have just cut these into equal size squares, guys. It's made rather a large block now, haven't I? Second derp of the day. Wasn't thinking it. I was just, you know, in a world of my own, rolling out my clay, thinking about the beach, because I wish I was on the beach still, but oh well. All right, so I forgot to mention you need some circle cutters as well. So I've got some circle cutters, any size you want really. These are smallish, and then I've got the really small ones here as well. And these are listed in my Amazon storefront. So I'm going to start with this cutter. You can do whichever size cutters you want, and I'm just going to push all the way through the stack right down to the bottom. Hopefully I don't pull it back out with me. And then another one inside of that one, like so, and then a smaller one inside of that one, like so. So I'm not doing full circles, it's just doing like 3/4 of it or something. And then I'm just going to squish this back together so it doesn't fall apart. And then I'm getting a smaller one, and I'm hoping this will go all the way down because this stack is quite thick. And there we go. All right, so that's the first bit. Okay, going to take my blade, blunt side down, and I'm just going to cut some sunshine rays. I'm going to try not to cut myself. So, like this. Now, with this one, I want a fairly open pattern, so I don't want it to be too busy, and you'll see why later. So I'm not doing a lot of cuts. I'm not doing them really close together. There's quite big spaces, especially up here. Okay, let's smush this back together, make sure it's all stuck back together. Guys, why did I do it like this? Why didn't I cut out individual squares instead of, you know, bigger sheets like that? Sometimes I just don't think. It's still going to work out the same. It's just I feel like I've made a rather large block now. Oh well. All right. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to get some of these smaller cutters, and I'm worried these aren't going to fit through. It's about the same height, but I know what these are like. They tend to pull the clay back out. So I'm just going to push some of those through in random areas. There's no set formula. It's just wherever you think looks good. And it is just a very simple makume gane. So that one. And let's do some smaller ones inside those bigger ones. Push that down. Hopefully it won't pull the clay back out. It's no biggie if it does, but I'd rather it didn't. Oh, do you like my nails, by the way, guys? These aren't actually my vacay nails. I did these since I got back. I can't go to a salon and get my nails done because I'm allergic to the products that they use. So, oh, that one came out. So I found these ones on Amazon, and they are just press-on ones, but you know what? They're really good, and they're not damaging my nails. They've got like a little tab on them that you peel off, and it's just sticky underneath, and then you just stick it straight onto your nail. And so far so good. I mean, I had all my other ones on the whole time I was away, and they would have stayed on longer if I hadn't have pulled them off and tried something different. But these have been on for a week almost. No, not a week. What am I talking about? 3 days. So anyway, I'm just rambling. I'm just showing you my nails because I'm kind of proud of them. Oh, I don't push this down too far, guys, because it's going to pull it back out. I know it is. Yeah, this small one's a bit awkward. Should have probably done a thinner stack, but oh well. So I'm just pulling it out and popping it back in, and I'm even putting it in upside down. It doesn't matter. You can do that. You can turn it the other way and just pop it in. So I'm going to try and, which one did I do? I'm going to try and ditch that one because it's a bit small. And just wiggle these out, and that one's okay. So I'm going to leave those. So just a few little cuts like that, and then just a little bit more, and I'm just using my needle tool for this, and I'm just going to push through randomly wherever, just a little bit of extra something like so, and there's that. All right, easy as that. That's the first block. Okay, so I'm just going to close this back up now and squash it into a thicker, back into a thicker square block, so we can take slices from it. So that's the first block. Okay, easy as that. I'm just making sure it's closed up. Like so. Give that a quick roll. And there's the first block, and I'm just going to put it to one side, and we'll see what it looks like when I cut into it. So I'm doing the same technique on this second batch. So let me get my little square pieces over. This is all translucent rolled onto a 4. And then I've got 8 pieces of those, and then I've got 6 pieces of the thinner squares which are rolled onto a 6. So I'm going to do the same thing, the same pattern, but instead of using coloured clay, I'm going to use translucent clay and inks. And I'm just going to get my gloves on for this. I don't want to get ink on my new nails, guys. Oh dear. Right. I know I'm waffling on a bit, guys. I'm a little bit giddy. I'm back at my desk. I mean, I enjoyed my cruise, don't get me wrong. It was fantastic, but there's no place like home. I don't care what anybody says. I'm always happy to be on vacay. I'm always sad a little bit when I leave, but I'm always happy when I get to be back home and doing what I like doing. All right, so I'm just going to drop a couple of drops on these squares of each of those colours that I showed you. So there's going to be 2 of each. Okay, so this is the violet blue. I know I'm a little bit off camera, but I know you can still see me a little bit. But I'm just covering that whole square, okay? I don't want to have to move the clay again. And then the same on the second square. So 2 squares of the purple, and then 2 squares of each of the other colours, and you need to let them dry. And I'm just going to go off camera to do the rest, guys. So I've got 4 colours, and each colour is 2 squares. And then let them dry. All right, guys, I'll be back. Okay, I added all the colours to each of the squares, and I'm just going to stack these randomly and chuck in a little bit of the translucent as I go along. No rhyme or reason, just wherever. So that's the colour, that's the little trans squares. Colour, colour, trans, colour, trans. I think I'll keep the dark one for the top. I like to have a few little dark lines pushed through. And then this, the last little trans square, and the purple on the top. I think that's a little bit damp, but not to worry. The purple seems to take longer to dry, I've noticed. All right, so just a very quick stack then. I'm going to do the exact same thing as I did on the other one, and that's the 2 stacks. So I just wanted to show you some variations of the same thing because it's going to look completely different. So I'm not cutting this in half. I've got all the colours running through, so I don't need to cut it in half and stack. And this is obviously a smaller block than the other one, which is fine. Same thing again. I'm just going to grab the cutters, not that big one though, and just push through. Push through and push through like so. So that's the little circles, and then blade blunt side down again. I'm going to do my little sunshine rays. It actually looks like a butterfly wing when you slice into it. So just a few of those again, same as before. And then I'll get my smaller ones again. This should work better because it's not as thick as the other one. And I'm just going to push these randomly as well. So same as before. Let's do some little ones inside the bigger one. Same as before. Let's do that one on its own. Oh, that one came out. Darn it. Darn it, darn it. I don't think this is going to be salvageable. Oh, maybe. Whatever, I'm just going to stick it back in there. It'll be fine. Let me try another one of those. I'll just be a little bit more careful and maybe not go all the way down to the bottom. That's better. I'm just giving this a little bit of a wiggle as I go down so it doesn't pull back out. I don't know whether to risk this really small one or not. I don't think I will, guys, to be fair. I'll just do a couple more of these. That one came out as well. Grumble, grumble. I don't think I can salvage this one, guys. Oops, I've got it caught on my glove. Oh my gosh. Do you know what? Scrap that. Oh dear. Oh dear. All right, that one I'll just have to close that one up. It'll be fine. And then my pokey tool again, and just in random spots, do a few little dots. It's a simple Makume Gane. You don't have to do this particular pattern if you don't want to. You can make it as random as you want. All right, so there's the two blocks. I'm just closing this one up, forming it back into a square, and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, and we've got two blocks. One's rather large and one's not so large. So I'm going to go with the larger one first, and instead of taking off, you know, little slivers like that, I'm just going to cut straight down. And that's the pattern on that one. It's beautiful. I love it. So there's that. And the more you keep cutting, you're going to get a different colour popping through. So like that one's got more blue. If you don't like that side, you could just flip it that way. Let's go with another one, see what that looks like. Oh, and then we've got more of the pink. Now, the other thing, because you could just take slivers if you wanted to, rather than big slices like that. I'm trying to get my other blade, and I can't pick anything up with these gloves on. You could just take slivers like I said, and like this one, I'm not sure I like all that pink, so I'm just going to remove a bit of it. This can still be utilised. But you can do that as well, guys, just to change it up, and I prefer it like that. See, not so much of that pink on there. Or you could look on the other side and see how that would look if you shaved a little bit off, and you can keep these little pieces. They won't go to waste. That one's no good because it's nearly all blue, but for the most part you can save them. All right, so you can do that, take a little bit off. I like those actually. And I think this one, I don't like all that blue on it. It's too much. So, oops. I went a bit deep on that one, but you get the idea. All right. So, definitely going to use that one. I'm just going to see what this would look like if I remove just a little bit. And that's pretty nice as well. Okay, so I'm just going to keep cutting through the stack. In fact, let's just take some slivers as well, and we can utilize those. See, you're getting a different pattern as you go down, different layers of colour as you cut through. So, you know, just play with it. I'm not going to cut all through this, but that's basically what that block looks like pre-bake. All right, so there's that one. Let's cut into this one. Now this is the translucent one, and even though it's the same pattern, it's going to look different when it's baked. And again, I'm just going to cut a chunk off. You see, that's pretty cool looking. I'll take one more slice off this. And then I am going to take some slivers as well. So I'm not going to make a ton of pendants, but obviously I'm making it so you can see the difference. See, the slivers are nice on this as well. So you can do it either way, guys, whichever you fancy, and then you can just piece them together. You could even mix and match some of those, some of those. I'm not going to do that because I want you to see the difference between the two. Just throwing out some ideas. Okay, ooh, that's going to be very translucent there, isn't it? I think I'm just going to take a tiny little bit off that and I'm going to leave that as is. That will make a very cool looking pendant in my opinion. This one's a little bit thick, so I'm just going to take a little bit off. So I've got some slivers and I've got some slices. Oops. So you can play around. Okay, so they're all the bits. Now then, this is thick enough just to make as a pendant as is. So let's just use this one. Like I say, I'm not going to make a ton of pendants on this, and I've lost my roller. There it is. And I'm just going to give it a roll just to level it off a little bit and stretch it out a little bit because I want it to accommodate my cutters. Okay, so there's that one. Now then, which one shall I use? Let's go with that really nice sun shape. I'm just going to give this a quick wipe just to damp it down. Hopefully it won't stick. And like I say, this particular cutter is from Kaylee in England at Kaylee and Clay. Okay, so there's that one. Let's just take this away, and that's going to look so pretty, hopefully, anyway. So there's that one, pre-bake, and that's using the coloured clays with just a little bit of trans thrown in. All right, so there's that one. Let's do a few slithers. I've rolled out some black backing, and let's just put some of these on here and kind of burnish it on there. What happened to this bit? That's a bit chunky, so let's just take a bit of that off. I'm really just throwing out ideas, guys. I'm just going to pop that there like that, and let's pop that little bit in there like that. All right, so that's another pendant using just some of the thinner slices, and I'll use those other ones in other pieces. Okay, so I've got that on there, and I'm just going to give this a quick burnish. Just going to pop it on some paper. Put some paper on top. Actually, I'm just going to give it a quick roll first. Just makes it a little bit easier. So I'm just going to move my sunflower out the way before I damage it, but I really love that. I'm going to pop that over there for now, and I'm going to burnish this using my steel soap. Again, this is listed in my Amazon storefront, and it just helps smooth out the clay and get that those pieces that are raised more flush to the black clay, like so. And you can be quite brutal with it. Going to peel it back before it gets too sticky. Sometimes it can stick to the paper, and we don't want that. Like this has done a little bit, you see. But it's no biggie because you can just turn the paper over and just give it another burnish. Like so. Going to feel with my fingers. I'm going to leave my gloves on, guys, because I'm going to be using resin later on, just in case you're wondering. All right, so there's that. I'm just going to move these out of the way, but like I said, there's all these pieces that I can use. I'll make a few more pieces and I'll show you, but I'm just going to do a couple on camera. All right, so let's go with this really nice heart cutter, again from Kaylee and Clay. And I want to have some black showing, so I'm just going to go there with this one. Where's my block? My block. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? I can't see you. There you are, hiding away. Okay, so I'm just going to do that, just so it leaves a little bit of black on there. So there's that one. Gorgeous, gorgeous, even if I do say so. and I think I'm just gonna, shall I use this one? Yeah, why not? I'm going to go there with this one and just have some black at the bottom, so you can play around with where you want to position the cutters as well, guys. All right, so that's that. So I've done two using just some of the little pieces cut off on some black, burnished onto black clay, and I've just done one using a whole slice like that. So that's using those from the coloured clay. I could get another piece out of that, couldn't I? But I think I'll just play around and see. So I'm going to put that to one side. Okay, right, let's take, I'm going to take this bit. This looks interesting to me, and there's a lot of translucent left, so it's going to be a very open pattern with just a hint of the colour coming through. I'm loving that. I mean, it could look completely different once it's baked, and I might not like it, but this is the thing with translucent. It's always going to change a little bit with the alcohol ink. And I'm thinking, I'm moving this scrap out of the way. What shape shall I use for this, guys? Is that hair in there, or is that just dirt? Let me give that a quick wipe. Rubbing alcohol, otherwise known as isopropyl, and a wipe, and I'm just giving it a bit of a clean. Okay. Let's go with this. I want to incorporate those dots if I can. I'm just going to give this a little stretch that way, so I can fit that on there, and I'm loving that. So there's that one. So that's the translucent ink cut from one slice, and there's a little bit left, but I'll probably just have to use that for backing or something. So there's that one. I love that. I just hope it bakes as nice, but I really do like that one. So I'll put that over there, and then obviously I've got these pieces left over to make some more, but I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the black and burnish some of those slivers onto some translucent clay, which I've already rolled out. Again, you can do whatever thickness, but this is rolled onto a number 2. And just to reiterate, that's the third thinnest setting on my pasta machine, the third thickest, 0 being the thickest. So I'm just going to piece that on there like that, and burnish it on. Okay, and I've still got some more bits left, so I've got a lot to play around with. I might make a few more bits and I'll show you, but you know, I've done 3 from the coloured one and 2 from the translucent one, so that's more than enough to give you a good comparison. Just give that a quick roll, grab some paper and give it a quick burnish. All right, guys, so they're all the pieces that I'm going to do on camera. I'm going to go and bake them. Now, I know somebody will ask, so I might as well say it. Premo, it cures at 275. Cernit cures at 265. But clay does not burn until it hits 350 degrees. So it's fine to bake at a higher temperature. Now obviously I want the Premo to cure, so it needs to be baked at 275. That's not going to hurt the Cernit at all. All right, just in case somebody's watching that doesn't know that. But you always need to bake at the higher temperature, because you want to make sure that the clay that is the higher temperature is going to cure. If you do the lower temperature, it's not going to cure, but it's okay to go higher. And it's stuck. Oh no, it's stuck and broke, guys. Whoops. Oh well, never mind. I shall deal with it because it's okay, she says. just going to give it a quick smooth. I can still use this. All is not lost. These things happen. There we go. All right, so this is this one. And I'm thinking, what have I got? I've got a long teardrop, a heart, a diamond, and a sun. So I think I'm going to go, do you know what? I'm tempted to use this cute cat that Kaylee sent me. Isn't it adorable? I think I will, but I think I'm going to use it on the coloured clay, and I'll show you that when I've done it. So now I'm deciding what to do, guys. I don't know. Let's go with this fat teardrop. And I was going to leave some trans at the bottom, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to plop it there, guys, because I like the look of that, although that's a little bit thin there, so I'm going to have to be careful. I'm going to go here with it, all right? My intention was to leave a little bit of the trans, but I'm liking the look of that, so I won't. Okay, so there's that one. All right, guys, they're all the pieces. I'm going to go and bake these. I'm going to bake them for an hour on 275. Let me just gather them up so you can see better. Grab my tile. So there's that one. Trans and ink. Coloured and a little bit of trans. Coloured and a little bit of trans. Trans and ink. And coloured. All right, so they're all the pieces, guys. Like I say, I'll make some more off camera and I'll be back. All right, guys, I baked these and I've got some more baking in the oven, and I've done some more that I've already finished, but I'll show you all of those at the end. But just for now, these are the ones that I did on camera, and you can see how completely different they look, and they're going to look even better once we've applied the resin. Now, I'm not going to do every single piece on camera, but I'll show you what I do for the pieces. And then show you the finished product at the end. So what I want to do first of all then is add just some regular UV resin first, and then kind of build up with the layers. So I've got my resin ready, so I'm probably going to do this one and this heart one on camera, and I'll do the rest off camera. The same thing, but you don't need to see me do like half a dozen pendants. So I'm going to get my resin. And like I say, this is the Lightwish resin that I really like. And I did say there was a couple of drawbacks. Actually, only really one drawback, to be honest with you. It cures very quickly, which is a positive. It goes on very nice, which is another positive. And I think it's probably the shiniest resin I've come across. I've not used all the resins out there on the market, but out of the ones that I've used, this is very shiny. The only drawback with this resin, and it happens with a lot of resins, is that it does pull away from the edges quite a lot, even before you bake it. Not bake it, cure it under the UV lamp. So you need to be mindful of that. But I've noticed, like say now I've done this one and then I go and resin a few more pieces, I'll come back to this and it will have pulled away from the edges. So if you're mindful of it, and then you can just quickly go back over and then cure it before it happens again, it's fine. But that's the only drawback. The other positive about it is it doesn't leave a lot of air bubbles, if any. Now with the Jade Diction, the original formula that they did, I really liked it, and they changed the formula and I noticed there was a lot more air bubbles in it, but that one didn't recede on the edges. So it's, what do you want? What's better, air bubbles or receding edges? I would go with the receding edges because you can fix that. With the bubbles in resin, I mean, it is fixable, but not as easy to fix as, you know, the receding edges. So I'm going to say that this is probably the best resin I've used. So I will put that in my Amazon storefront as well, but I will keep the Jade Diction there, and then it's on you which one you prefer. I'll just do one more resin piece because I was yapping, but you see I've done 2, and all I do is just put it on some tape, sticky side up, so my pieces don't move around, and I tend to pour my resin in the center of the piece. Careful not to do too much because you don't want it to overflow, and then I just very gently drag it to the edges like so. So I'm going to do that on all of them, cure it, and then come back for the next step. Now I'm looking to see if this has receded, and it has a little bit on this one. I can see already it's pulled back. You perhaps can't pick it up on camera, and I don't want to lift it because I don't want to tilt the tile, but it has. So I'm going to have to go back over that. And now I've put that resin on, I will lift it actually so you can see better. It's really brought those colours out, but can you see just here it's receded a little bit. So that's the only drawback with this resin, but it's not that big of a deal because you can just do that and put it in the UV lamp to cure. So I'm going to pop that there. I'm going to get my long lighter, and I just go over a few times just to make sure I've burst any bubbles that have risen to the surface, like so. And I'm going to bang these under the UV light for about 5 minutes. I'll do the rest, and I'll do the other ones that are currently in the oven, and I'll be back for the next step. All right guys, I've resined those, and that's what they look like so far, but we're going to do some more now. But look how lovely those colours are. I'm especially liking these ones, they're gorgeous. But anyway, next step then, I'm going to bring over those glitter resins that I told you about at the beginning, and I'm going to go with this golden one. I'm not going to use all the colours, but I'll use several. So this is what the golden one looks like. So I'm just going to dribble a bit on my tile so you can see. And then let's go with what they call the white. It's actually got blue flecks in it, I think, but it's called white. So let's put a bit of that on there. And you can see it's quite thick, which is good. It's a good thing, especially when you're using it to decorate a piece. And then let's try this light blue. I'm just going to put a bit of that on there. So there's that one. And shall I go with a little bit of the light green? I think I will. So there's the light green, which is luscious. I might need a little bit more, and I'm not going to use any of the purple or the dark green or the dark blue, but you get the idea. They're lovely and sparkly and thick and very easy to use. All right, so there's those glitters, glitter resin rather, and I need to grab my silicone brush again. And all I'm going to do is take these colours. So which one shall I do? I think I said these two, didn't I? All these have been resin, but I'm just going to focus on these two to show you. So I'm going to do the same thing on all of them, so you don't need to see me do all of it. But you can see, I'll just hold it up. Can you see where some of the open patterns are? You can fill those in. But the nice thing about these resins, even though they've got glitter in them, obviously it's still translucent because it's just mixed into regular resin. So you're going to get that glitter, that shine, but it's still going to show the original colour of the clay underneath. It's still going to poke through, and I think that's what I really like about them, especially for this kind of thing. Obviously you could use it for other stuff as well, but I probably wouldn't use them to glitter my backs. I think I already said that, just because it's not opaque enough. The reason I glitter and resin my backs is to hide any blemishes, so I add more glitter to make it more opaque. So I wouldn't use these for that. So that's the green. I just need to grab a paper towel or something. Excuse me a minute, I'm just wheeling myself over. I'm wheeling myself back. I've just got some paper towel just to wipe my silicone brush. I don't want it to land in that resin. It nearly did. Okay, so that was the green. I've just done I think I'll just do a little bit more of the green on this, and I'm just going to go over this black area with that. And it's just so sparkly and so sheer. It's gorgeous. I love it. So that's that. It's simple as that really, guys. I'm just building up the layers of resin because I'm going to put these glittery bits on, let it cure, and then I'm going to resin the whole piece again, the whole pieces again with UV resin, and then there'll be one final step after that. No, there won't. Ignore that bit. That will be the final step, including another little something something. So what am I doing? I'm rambling. I'm just going to add a little bit more of that green in that open space there. And this resin is nice and thick, so it doesn't dribble down the sides, and it kind of does what you want it to do. Right, let's go with this gold. I think the gold is my favourite out of all of them. And I'm just going to add a few little bits here and there. I'm just filling in some of those empty spaces, like I say. Boop, boop, boop. Like so. And it's not a strong colour. It shows up more on the black, obviously, but it just gives that little shimmer in some little different colours. So pretty. And we're just going to put a blob of gold there, and just a little bit here, like so. All right, so that's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to take each of these colours and just plop them where I think looks good. Like I'm going to put that here. This is the white, what they call the white, and it does have little blue and silver flecks, glittery flecks in there, and I'm just going to fill that little space in. So you're basically colouring your piece with resin, glittered resin. Obviously I'm not going to cover the whole piece with it, it's just going to be certain areas. Okay, so I'll just do a little bit more, go and do the rest off camera, cure it, and be back for the final stage before I show you the finished pieces. Or the final step, should I say. All right, so let me just add a little bit of the pink as well somewhere. Let's put that here in that little open space there. I don't think I'm going to put pink on the other one because that's more orangey and blue. So that's all I'm going to do on those. I'll do the rest off camera, cure them, and I shall return. Dun, dun, dun. All those glittery bits have cured, and you can see it's just a very subtle shimmer, but you can see the different colours I've put on there. I think it looks so pretty, and look how shiny the resin is. But we are going to add another layer of resin because I want to now add some more decoration using these little tiny beads that I've got here. I'll list these in my Amazon storefront, and it's a little bit fiddly because they are so small. But what I've found best to do, let me just grab back that tile that's got the coloured resin on it so I can work with that. Let's put that there like that. I'm just going to pour a little bit of resin on there to start with. And I'm just going to grab some on the end of my little silicone brush. And I'm just going to draw on where I want the beads to go. Like so. So I'm doing a little bit of a wiggly line. I know you can't see it, but you'll see it when I put the beads on. So I'm just bringing that all the way down, just a little bit. It's just to hold those, excuse me, little beads in place. And I'm just going to grab my little UV torch if I can find it. What did I do with that? It was in here. Now I can't see it. There it is. These little UV torches are very useful for a quick partial cure. All right, so I've got my little line of resin, which I know you can't see, and I can't see that well either, to be honest. But it's here, and I've just drawn a little line, like I say. And I'm just going to scoop some up on the end of my silicone brush, and I'm just going to drop them on as close to the resin as I can find, as I can. And then I'm just going to scoop them around into a little line. It's just easier than picking them up, you know, individually. You'd be here for hours doing that. And it doesn't even have to be a perfect line. It could be little clusters or whatever you fancy. But that's what I found is the easiest, just to pop them on like so, and then shuffle them around a little bit until you're happy with your little design. And I'm not going to do a ton of this. It's just a little highlight of something. But I really, really like that. A few more here. Like so. Just give them a little shuffle. There's a few still stuck on the end of the brush, but we'll not worry about that. Just one little more shuffle around, a little tidy up. And I think that's all I'm going to do on that one. And then what I'm going to do is get my little handy dandy UV torch. And this cures so quickly. I mean, this is not going to give it a full cure. It's just going to set it in place. But it cures so quickly doing this that I can move on to putting the next coat of resin on without those beads moving around. I just like to double check though, just to make sure. Yeah, you see they're completely set on there already. A few seconds is all it took. So there's that one. Oh, I went ahead and did that one, didn't I? Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I'm just showing you. I was just going to focus on those two, but I went ahead and did that. Oops. Okay, so let me think what I want to do with this one. I think I'm going to do a little squiggly line over here on this one. And the same thing, but I think I might use the gold ones on this one. And I'm just going to do pretty much the same thing on all the other pieces. So I'll just quickly show you this one. And I can't get this open unless I use my teeth. Right, so I'm going to pick up some of the gold ones this time, and I'm just going to pop them on there. It's a little bit awkward, guys. I've lost my line. Where did I put my resin line? I think that's it. Oh, there's a little one dropped off there. I'm probably not going to get those now because they're stuck to the tape. Yeah, it's fiddly. I'm just giving you a heads up. I've lost my resin line, guys. I don't think I'm putting them in the right place. There we go. Okay, so, oh, no, that didn't stick. I don't think I've got any resin there. I think I missed where the resin was, so I'm just gonna redo that bit. That's better. And just shuffle them around. Like so. Okay. Right, so it is a little time consuming, a little bit fiddly, but well worth it in my opinion. I'm just going to quickly give that a quick blast. I'll do similar on all the other ones. You can decorate it however you want. You could use rhinestones, you know, just like the regular flat back rhinestones like this. Pop some of those on. There's this nail art stuff that I got with all different little patterns in there, like little love hearts and teardrops and some pink rhinestones, whatever you fancy. I'm just going with these seed beads. I may add a couple of rhinestones on one or two of them, I'll see. But that's all I'm doing. I'm drawing my resin where I want my beads to stick, giving it a quick cure, and that's it, other than to add the final coat of resin. And I know it's a lot of resin in these, but it just gives it a little bit of dimension because you're building up layers, and it's just so sparkly when it's finished. So I'm just going over one last time with another coat of resin. I'm going over those little beads so they're held in place even more. Whoops. I'm getting a bit crowded now, so I've got stuff everywhere again. I've got my resins there and my tile there and all the rest of it. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do. That's the final coat of resin. That will get cured, and that will be the finished piece, other than to maybe tidy up the edges and resin and glitter the backs, on which I do have a video for that, and I will leave a link in the description. So I'm going to go and do the same thing with all the others, little seed beads on them, final coat of resin, and I'll be back with the finished pieces. Okay guys, I've done all the pieces. There's some that I did on camera and some that I did off camera, and they're all kind of mixed up, so I'll just go with this one first. Oh, and I did find in my stash some of these sequins, but they've got kind of a little scalloped edge on them. Or somebody gave me these, so I don't know where they got them from, and I looked on Amazon and they don't have any, but I thought they would look really nice on these. So if you can find them, I hope you do. I can't find any, but you could just use regular sequins. It's just a little extra something. I absolutely love this one. I haven't done the backs yet. I'm tired of resining. I think I've got some on me, so I'm probably going to suffer tomorrow, so I'm just giving it a break, but I will probably just resin and glitter the backs. But there's that one. Love it, love it. And then this one, so you can see I added a few of those sequins, and then you can see the little shimmers of glitter, glittered resin. There's the gold and the blue and those little beads. And then this one, I adore this one as well, and I did add a few little rhinestones on that one as well, and again you can see that glitter, but look how shiny that resin is. It's stunning. I think it is anyway. And then this is another one that I did, just that little heart, and I just did a little circle of beads on that one. So there's those. This is the sun one that I did, gorgeous, with all the different coloured sequins going on the outside, a couple of little rhinestones and the beads. So shiny. And then a couple of hearts. So you can really see the difference. Let me just show you these two first. This one, this is one that I did on camera. This is one that I did off camera. But again, I just embellished with whatever I had. So, you know, you can do whatever you want to decorate it. But look at the difference, exactly the same technique. But look at the difference. Two completely different looks using the same technique. So there you go, guys. There's all the pieces. I hope you enjoyed that. It's good to be back. I'm just arranging these so they look nice. It's good to be back. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye.